Welcome, traveler. You must speak the ancient words to... Nah, just messing with you. You ready to play some D&D?
Here we go.
Jared's got 7 kittens and they're
Add to
adorable.
the sounds of the. Oh, how many kittens are left? How many kittens are
Welcome to
left?
the party in this episode of D20 to Curtain, where Oklahoma theater geeks hit record and explore their new addiction to Dungeons and Dragons. How is everybody doing?
Good.
Hey,
Oh my God,
that was sad.
What just happened there?
Whoa, whoa.
Yes, I'm super excited to listen to this. Let's introduce the crew. I'm Jerome. I'm your dungeon master.
I'm Timothy, and I play Allie.
I'm Kara, and I play Nezerin.
I'm Jennifer, and I play Ula.
I'm Jared, and I'm Jade.
I'm Jody, and I play Lapis.
As you may have noticed, we're making a few adjustments to the show so we can help maximize your time, since the world is a little different than when we originally planned and structured out our original production. We want to send mad love to all of you who have decided to listen and share and review our show. You are truly amazing.
Yes.
This community that is being built around us is amazing, and we just want to say thank you. We're so glad that we get to share this experience with you. We always want to say thank you to our home state, the Sooner State. What? Oklahoma, right?
Oh my
We
God.
love you,
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, okay.
Sweeping down the
Love
plane.
it.
Thank God for
Great.
Oklahoma.
And the pollen.
What?
Fun.
Wow.
We do musicals. We also want to give mad love to everybody who is listening to, get this, there are people listening to us in Australia.
Ooh,
Down
ship on
under.
the bobby.
Somebody say the boy from Oz. I don't know.
I
I want to come visit you
Priscilla
someday.
Queen in the
I
desert.
don't. Have you seen their spiders?
Outback Steakhouse.
so wanna visit.
No, thank you for giving us Wolverine, Australia.
Thank you for
Oh,
giving
yeah,
us
that's
just
true.
Hugh Jackman in general.
Yes.
And the film Australia, the Baz Luhrmann
Is
flick.
that the one where he like
Oh, yeah.
sluices water over himself?
Ah,
All right, Australia, we're sorry.
that out of the way, Kara, you got a couple of things to say?
Yes, I just want to say keep sharing and sending us your reviews, rating, and I can't say enough. We just appreciate all the community support that you guys are building. Spread the word.
Sure.
So keep showing that love.
For sure. And we got
love
the
that
swag
love.
bag to give away. The sweepstakes is happening. So as
They
you're
do.
getting your reviews and ratings in, we're going to be adding your
You
name.
are
to the,
eligible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Your name gets in the pile. Not only does your name get in the pile, but we're going to say your name eventually, which is really cool because you get your own shout out. And we get to like you, we get to know you, and you become part of our community, which is just fantastic because every time you join our community, it's just another member. And if we could just virtual hug you. I'm virtually hugging you.
Virtual
Absolutely.
hug.
Virtually hugging every
that's
one of
sick.
you right now. So yeah, spread the
Squeesh.
word. And we love you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And also from there, we will throw your name into our talent pool or cornucopia, if you will, of
Ooh.
possible guest players, because we want to play with a multitude of different people from every walk of life.
Yeah. Let's just do that. Just join us.
Yep.
Just come in and join and play with us. It'd be great.
Yes, please.
I'd want to play with us.
Who wouldn't want that?
Sure.
We are terrific.
We are the best people.
So go to our website, d20tocurtain.com, for the specific rules of the sweepstakes. And while you're there, you can leave us a voice message
Yeah.
with your personal words of wisdom, or even just to say hi.
Yeah.
Because we like people when say hi.
I love listening to those messages. I love that.
That's so cool. I love it now that we can
fun.
do that on the Thanks to Speak pipe. Jody, what you got?
We dedicate this show to the real heroes, healthcare workers, law enforcement, local officials, and all the frontline workers that
Yeah.
are making the safety and just treatment
Mhm.
of every citizen their number one priority.
Yes,
Thank you
you.
to protesters who are giving voice to those who have for too long been denied
Yeah.
one.
Yes.
Hopefully.
We see you and we hear you. For all those Americans, we thank you, we honor you, and we hope for a little while to entertain you.
Mhm.
Yeah. What do you say, folks?
Say goodbye to mama.
I'm dressed in black.
Okay, let's do it.
Do we have to?
We do. Get it done.
Well, she could come back to life, I guess. But
Ooh, it's gonna be zombie apocalypse.
Oh,
Zombie mama.
Zombie mama.
It's probably been
that
made.
sounds like a bad horror
Probably
movie.
is one.
Sounds good about.
Probably.
Zombie mama.
Okay, let's bring the curtain up. When last we met, Ali, Nezra, Ula, Jade, and Lapis return to the safety of Hillgarden Farm after an exhausting night doing what they can to help the town of Greenest survive the raiding forces of what they discover is the cult of the dragon. All of the party is injured, and Lapis most of all, after standing as the town's champion and having been defeated in one-on-one combat by a boastful half-dragon cult leader named Lagndadrosa Cyanrath.
The douche.
With the night's dangers past,
Damn cults.
at least temporarily, each member of the Hillgarden family is forced to face the painful loss of the group's matriarch, Seraphimia Hillgarden. Feeling the pain of this loss and reflecting over the changes in her life over the past 6 years, Nezrin surveys the pyre where Seraphimia lies and eventually makes her way off into the night in search of ornamental rocks or a fitting natural tribute, guided by the faded memory of white-barked trees. Meanwhile, Jade prepares a meal while Ali and Ula get reacquainted, while looking over the severely wounded Lapis. In the midst of their attempt to reconnect, Ula expresses her concern for the bloodthirsty nature in which Lapis sought to extract information from a cultist the party took hostage earlier in the night. Ula retires to the pyre to meditate, and Lapis, having heard some of the conversation, informs Ali of her promise to Seraphimia to protect the children, even if it means she must be seen as a monster. Having acquired what she sought, including stink sap, which she falsely recalls as possessing healing properties, Nezrin encounters Nesim Waladra, a monk of the Bandit Queen, who explained that he was gravely injured during the night's raid.
Damn telephone game.
Offering Nesim shelter at the farm, the two make their way towards Hillgarden when Nesim's injuries forces Nezrin to take desperate action, applying the stink sap to the wound, which only makes the situation worse. Racing to retrieve Ula, the two are able to clean and close Nesim's wounds, but unable to carry him back. Nezrin once again returns to the farm in search of Lapis, Ali, and Jade, while Ula stays behind with the monk. With the clock ticking, the cleric fights to keep Nesim alive. So you're gonna make you're making your way back toward the space. You're still driven with the same adrenaline and push. The others are just kind of keep up with you, as all they can see is that you're concerned and they're concerned about you. Ula, make another save.
Oh my God.
You knew it was coming.
11.
All right.
Oh,
And you're able to, you're pushing just to help him, and he is struggling through and fighting as after a few moments, you start to hear the sound of a hysterical Nezrin dragging her siblings behind her.
I imagine I look sort of like a strange woodland creature as all the blood and vomit is now dried into a crusty coating.
I'm running top speed. My walking speed is 30 feet, so I don't know what my running
You're doing your best not to overtake Nezrin just because of your basic athletic strength, because you wouldn't know where to go. But before long, Lapis and Nezrin make their way into the wood, ducking through bush and cover to find a struggling Ula holding onto the tourniquet and a very critical monk. Oh my God, that was intense. I did not want to kill that guy off, but I sure would have.
When the 3 showed up, I was like, not bad. I could do medicine checks and healer's kit checks, and I'm rolling death saves for this guy.
But here's the deal, checking him doesn't do you any good. Like, now you gotta do it without magic. Now you gotta see to his well-being without the use of your stuff.
Because I blew my healer magic on Lapis, who was sleeping.
We all thought we were going to take a long rest.
Yeah, I was hoping. I really needed a long
We all
rest,
need one.
real bad.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'm still hurting on my hit
My
point.
favorite thing so far that's happened is this.
No.
You gotta go with what happens. You guys have just made it into the forest. She's holding onto the tourniquet.
Nessie, can you bake a fire?
Yes, I can make a fire. I cast firebolt on some brush, and it lights up.
Lapis, hold this.
Got it.
Make a strength check, Lapis.
At disadvantage,
Big girl tired.
19. Double
Okay.
check. Yeah, strength 19.
Okay. You are Lapis. You don't know what's going on.
Nope.
You are just putting your strength into your arm and twisting this tourniquet, and the blood has stopped for sure. That's all you know. That's all that matters at this moment.
That's all you need to know. I'm going to take my
It's
dagger.
all I am capable of knowing right now because I can't comprehend much.
I'm going to take my dagger where Nessie's made of fire and get the metal good and warm.
Sure. And for the purposes of this, you don't need to do anything for your check. You don't need to do anything to heat it up. You just need to take a couple of seconds. You heat it up. You insert the blade into the wound.
More good smells.
It burns
Chicken.
and closes.
Long pig.
Mm-hmm.
And over a few seconds, the wound stops bleeding.
So we're all cauterized now. Okay, Lapis, you're good.
Okay. And I release.
Good job. Thanks, Nessie. Thanks, Lapis. Can you help me get him back to the house? I look at Nessie and go, who is this dude?
As Jaide stands in the lighted clearing, watching all of this, watching the three of you work together to save this figure. And we start to hear a winded and grumbly Callie pull into the clearing.
I'm going to just pick dude up. I don't have a lot of strength right now because I'm still hurting, but I will muster it and just pick him up.
And you're still exhausted. Go ahead and make a athletics check at disadvantage.
And I look to Ula and I say, this is Nesim. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
He's my friend.
Okay.
That's all I say.
18.
At 18, you lift him off the ground, his body limp in your arms. You're struggling. Just your base strength level is just so waned because you're exhausted. You're literally winded just in what you've done thus far, but you start to move him towards the clearing, making your way
I try to help her as much as I can, just to maybe be another body to help carry the load.
Okay.
I'm very fragrant as well.
Just because you don't have to make a check on it. She's got him. She's struggling with the weight of him, but you're so zealous. You're so eager to help that you're almost throwing the balance of things off. But you, even realizing that, you're just present and actively looking to benefit this person that, from everybody's understanding, is a stranger to you.
Do I recognize him, DM?
Instantly.
Okay.
I'm going to look at Nessie and say, it's kind of you to help. I've got him.
And I nod towards her, but I just kind of hold his dangling hand as they walk.
Gotcha.
Do I recognize that Jaide recognizes him? Does Jaide make any recognition of his?
Do you?
I was just about to say, do I see what his wounds are? Do I see what's happened to him?
I mean, from what you can see, they bandaged up the wound and then burned his leg. Like, his leg has got a really pronounced burn scar on it.
Could I tell that he's lost blood?
Oh, like just looking at him, you can tell, because this is a man who is complected a little lighter than I am.
Right.
And he's almost gray.
Okay.
Now, at this point, the sun is starting to come up over the horizon. It's still orange, but you can definitely see the color change.
I'm just gonna look at Lapis and say, take him to the kitchen. He needs sugar and water. That's it.
I nod and keep walking.
And then I kind of march with determination behind her.
What the hell's going on here? I'd say that openly to anybody who will answer.
I have no idea.
I killed a man. I
killed a
killed
man?
He's my friend also.
Nesrin, he's not dead yet.
I just
He'll be fine.
I've got him.
I just kind of start hysterically crying. It was like everything just kind of building up, and I've been for so long pretending like I'm okay, but I am clearly not okay, and this is just the moment to let it happen.
Conversing, the group of you are making your way in the slowly lightening dawn, in an image that is very much reminiscent of the inhabitants of the 100-acre wood walking back from Pooh's rescue from Rabbit's door. It's an odd collection of the five of you. You haven't been together in years. And yet somehow this is the first moment after a long night that you seem to be connected. A limp figure rests in Lapis's arms. But after a few moments, you're able to get him back to the house and laying on chaise, for lack of a better term.
Fancy. Divan.
The divan. He is gray. He is weak. But he is here. His wounds can be tended to with more of your supplies at the house. Salves are added to his burns. Fresh, more sterile bandages are placed over the wound.
I just look at everyone and say, I trained with him under Leeson and under Kelia.
Is that the Bandit Queen?
Yes.
He mentioned her.
Why is he here?
I think he just was looking for help. I don't really know. And I just kind of wander off upstairs, still talking to myself, but not answering really any of the questions that Jaide just asked. And I go into Mama's room and, just as disgusting as I am, lay on the bed and curl up.
Oh my God.
Allie's going to follow her.
Coming from a person who just washed all the bedclothes in her home, that bums me out.
She just wants to feel close to her. And she's not even aware of her condition at this point, and lays down on the bed in almost like a child who's been rocked is instantly quieted and soothed, and just curls up and falls asleep like she's been waiting to fall asleep.
Allie followed her, but after fuming and exhausted and rage-ish, and is getting ready to tear her a new one. But when he sees her fall asleep, he bites his tongue and just closes the door.
I look at Jaide. You trained with this person. What's his name?
Nesim, I think. And I guess I'm taking care of him or looking after him, maybe trying to see if he's conscious.
He's unconscious, but his breathing has, while it hasn't restored, it's stabilized. He's not nearly as shallow as he could be. His breath is steady. He is stable, and now it's simply a matter of time.
I am going to go to the kitchen, and Jaide had mentioned sugar water, correct, Jaide?
Oh, sugar and water. Yeah.
Sugar and water.
Food and water.
And
Breakfast.
I'm going to get him a glass of water and bring it back and set it on the table beside him, and then sit down by the chaise on the floor.
Chaiselonge.
by him, the chisons, on the floor, and just watch him.
Jade, I can help Nesim, but I have to have some rest. But I'll help your friend. Is he good?
Yes.
Okay.
And I
And
was gonna say I'll just put my hand to your shoulder and say, sleep. I'll watch him.
I will sit at the edge of the chaise-lounge. And I will, I'll say a little prayer to Lathander for Nesim, who somehow Jade knows at the end of this incredibly crazy day. And I'll try to get some rest so I can help Nesim further.
After I've shut the door on Nessie, I walk down and just sort of stand at the base of the steps, maybe sit on the base of the steps, just watching everyone, making sure, listening.
Smoking a cigarette. It's like,
Get a cigarette.
Still a little exhausted. Still a little exhausted, disinterested in this guy, but if Jade says he's okay, but exhausted, tired, but still a little fuming about Nessie right now.
As you are sitting on the steps, and Allie sits on the steps as Nezrin sleeps on Seraphimia's bed. Jade and Lapis and Ula all find a way to get comfortable close to the injured Nesim. And after moments of simply watching a sleeping individual, all of you drift off to sleep.
Thank God.
Can I click that long rest button?
Yeah, I've been like hovering over the long rest
That long
this
rest
entire
button.
session.
Hit that
Do we get it? Do it?
real quick.
I think I've said, and I fall asleep like 4 times.
You can take a long rest.
Yes!
Of course, my long rest is on a stairs.
Didn't say it was a comfortable rest. I said it was a long one.
It's
But
just a
you
long
you
one.
literally sleep the full time. There is no one checking, Nesim. You just all fall asleep. There is no one watching the perimeter. The door isn't locked. It's simply you just came in, hustle and bustle, collapsed. The morning sun has long been out when you awake. You are jolted up when your bodies have simply had enough rest to continue. Your exhaustion condition has been relieved, Lapis. The first to wake is Jade. And you find, sleeping on the chaise, Nesim, who is weak for sure, but alive. Make a perception check.
$14.
And then make a medicine check.
$20.
Hey.
You look him over just to be sure that he is breathing. That thing you do when you find someone you care about and they're sleeping. You just kind of check in to see that the rise and fall of their chest is happening. And you instantly notice that something is wrong. He seems well. He seems alive. But there seems to be something not quite right with his leg. You check him quickly and discover very quickly that the leg is broken. But
Mhm.
you search for the pulse of that femoral artery. You don't feel it. but he seems to be alive. And you know that is a testament to the quick thought of your sister Ula and the almost surprising act of selflessness of your sister, Nezrin. He's back here because Lapis, despite the fact that she was exhausted, carried him. And as you're checking him, his eyes open. It is good to see you, brother. I am glad you have survived this encounter. I did not see you in our fight, but I am certain you were there. Where am I?
You're at my home. You found my sister.
I am grateful. My leg. I do not feel my leg. Why is this?
Do I know?
You're not certain, but you have your theories. And with that roll, you're pretty certain that leg's not going to make it.
You seem to have been injured very badly. We did the best we could. My sisters helped you.
I am grateful. I am grateful to have found you for many reasons. I have sent men to find Nesim, but could not. I believe that he either did not make it or he has found a way to infiltrate these raiders. I believe they are the cult of the dragon, of which he spoke very often. I sent messengers to Bardosk. I sent word to the Bandit Queen. I hope they will bring assistance, but I am concerned for our master. If he has infiltrated this group or perhaps been captive to them, we must find them. We must help him. I could not go with you if I wanted. Please. Please. He's a
I just put my hand to calm him.
And he settles. Please. And he sort of slips back into that semi-drift sleep. Just your hand in a reassurance. The idea that he can actually hand this baton off to someone is enough to still him. And his eyes flutter back and forth between being awake and drifting again into unconsciousness. As the rest of the group slowly starts to wake.
I got the biggest crick in my neck right now.
Food?
Sure. What do you got?
Let me make something new. I start clearing the table and
Cold grits and cold eggs don't sound good to me.
There's not a ton of food here. You guys aren't well off.
Not a
lot.
farm.
Yeah, she gives most of it to people.
Got eggs.
Yeah, make some new food. Oh, I don't want no cold food. I want some hot food for my adventures.
That is the most W. Jerome Stevens thing I've ever heard in my life. Oh, so you're going to waste fantasy food?
There's a table full of food that's been made.
You have no idea. Oh my God.
He cooked the whole meal, and you guys are like,
Husband of mine.
Just pop it in the microwave.
I didn't say Lapis wasn't going to eat it. I was just, as Jody commenting on the fact that this food has been
Yeah,
sitting
yeah.
here
Doing
for
this,
a
like, the
long
free
rest.
bread. He's like, we're going to need a bag for that.
I get it to go bad.
Believe me.
I mean, I didn't just dump the rest of the food. I was just
We
like,
can reheat it.
Yeah, I'll go just sit out in the sun.
As you're starting to make this meal, you're putting things away, trying to salvage what you can, and starting to make.
I love you.
I'm grateful. The audience can tell. You are struck by a couple of things. People are starting to mull around. Bodies are starting to wake up out of beds. There is the sound of horses in front of the house.
When Jade goes into the kitchen, I'm going to follow him and start picking at the leftover food that's like sitting at the table and noshing,
And DM,
if you will.
as everybody's kind of starting to rise, the first thing Ula would do is check on
Okay.
Nesim, and I will cast Cure Wounds at level 2. We'll use a second level
Okay.
spell slot.
All right,
On him.
go ahead and roll your health points.
I'm still asleep because I'm very used to sleeping until like 1 o'clock. And the
Good to know.
servants coming.
Of course, we didn't go to bed till what? 5
Yeah,
in the
Yeah.
morning?
It's literally like it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, she's still asleep.
Okay.
He gets 7, 8, 9. He gets
Okay.
13
Good to know.
hit points back. And I'm going to focus on healing the bone that was so badly damaged.
I'm gonna make a plate of food and
His breath eases. He is looking less pale. And Ula, you check his wounds, check his leg. The break would seem to have been healed. You notice that there is a coldness to this left leg. You can't find the blood flow into it. And as you rub it and check it, you can even sense that some of the muscle is toughening. He kind of moves himself around, uses his arms to lift himself up on the bed, on the chaise. Thank you. I am grateful to you for your healing. And as you're hearing that, doom, 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 the sound of knocking on the door.
I'm going to rush to the door. Is there like a peephole or a knothole or any way for me to see out of it without opening it?
The door is solid, but you could look out of the window to the on the wall and see what's out there. If you
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
Okay. A carriage, a nice carriage, sits before the house. Inside of the carriage, you can see a figure moving past the windows and the open door. On the ground next to the carriage, you see Durbin. And at the door, you see Captain Bowman.
I will open the door. Hello.
Hello? I have come, one, to thank you, but to also ask, in the governor's stead, in light of your arrangement, Greenest could use your aid again if you're willing, able. I understand you do not wish to be reached, but we believe that we may need to send word. After last night's events, we need to track those raiders. We need to know why they were here.
While they're talking, I am going to walk outside the door and shut it behind me and guide them away from the house to talk.
Do I hear that, DM?
She wasn't talking softly once the door opened.
I follow. Nope. I go outside.
As Lapis quickly tries to push forward, pulling the door behind her, the door cracks open and Ula, still smeared with odd spatterings of blood and vomit, makes her way out into the porch.
I'm sorry that I smelled disgusting. It was a really long 24 hours. What's happening? Does the governor need our help?
Not yet. Please go inside and take care of our guest. Please let me talk to them.
Stop telling me.
Please, Ula, let me discuss
No.
with them first.
No. I'm a grown person. I think you are a righteous badass, Lapis. Believe me when I tell you. But I owe the governor a debt too. And you don't get to tell me.
I'm not discounting you. But I have a history with them.
Hey, Captain,
Yes,
do you need our help?
yes.
You got mine. I do need what appears to be a leg removed, but I got you.
Can you please give us a day? We have a funeral to attend to. Please, let us attend to it before you ask any more of us.
And the governor steps out. We can give you whatever time you need. However, I'm afraid our situation is more complex than that. And you may choose, if you desire to help us, to move more quickly. If you'll forgive me, I must break my pledge. And I wonder if I might call on the Hill Garden family once again.
Ask me again tomorrow. Ula, I'm not trying to negate your wishes, but this is something that we need to discuss together.
Move past Lapis toward the governor. And I approach him to where it can just be he and I talking.
Okay.
You have a scar. I've gotten much better in the intervening years at treating people's wounds. You saved my farm. You saved my family. But what I don't think you know is that I think you saved me. You know, Marivaldi, do you think of all the Hill Garden children, I would be the best wife? Nessie would have been the best wife. He didn't want me to be his wife. He wanted me for something different. And you saved my life. So, whatever everybody in this house says, I'm sorry that I didn't knit your scar better when I healed you all those years ago. But you saved me from a fate that I can't comprehend. And for that, I owe you everything. What would you ask of us? What would you ask of me?
Our scars remind us that we stood. Never forget that. Thank you, Gila. The trail will grow cold, and we believe that there are hostages within the Raiders, and we believe that their aims are far more ominous than a simple raid on a small farming and fishing town. We need to be able to protect ourselves against a second assault. But we wondered if you might aid us in learning why we were assaulted to begin with. I understand the depths of your pain, and I would certainly not ask you to leave your ceremony unfinished. I, too, have known a great many halflings, and I know the old ways. But I wanted to ask. Forgive me for for breaking my promise. Let us go. You know our request. I assume
Hold on.
you will make right by it, if you can.
Give us this, please, Nighthill. Give us time to grieve and time to mourn and time to lay our mother to rest.
His people start to get into the carts.
One moment, Governor, and we'll help you as best we can. The man that we captured, we're just the beginning. Greenest is just the beginning. He was building a horde. He kept talking about dragons and 5 heads. If this helps you at all, we're just the beginning. We're small potatoes. He's building a horde.
We'll do what we can. And thank you all for your time. As
See you around, I guess.
the governor starts to get into the carriage, followed by Durbin, and finally getting up in the passenger of the driving position, the captain. And yeah, the horses start to move.
I'm going to go to Ula and I'm going to take her hands. I know I am a monster. And I know I have done evil in this world. And I know that I will always have to account for that. And I will fight. And I will do what I need to do and what you need me to do. But this family needs time to grieve. And I need to honor your mother. I never got a mother. And Seraphimia showed me love that I have never been shown in my life, for the first time in my life. And I owe her a debt first and foremost. And her one dying wish was to have her family together again. I will honor your mother, and I will lay her to rest with you. I will honor her final wish. I hope you can do the same.
I grab your hands, Lapis. You keep saying your mother, and I think you are wrong. I think it is our mother. Lapis. It was our mother.
She was not my mother. I came to her grown.
I was near grown, Lapis. Love is love. And you are ours.
Thank you. And I embrace Ula.
I squeeze the shit out of her.
Now, please, take this day. Honor our mother in the way she wished. And we'll go save the world, I guess.
Together.
Always.
The two of you are hugging. You hear Nezrin, Jaide, and Allie stepping out of the front door. Jaide, with his staff in hand, draped over his shoulder, is the monk Nesim. Jaide looks at his two siblings, hugging, and smiles. Allie, you are reminded of the package you pocketed, and pull it from your pocket as Jaide stands next to you.
And I say to him in Infernal, do you know anything about this?
It simply says, "To my son."
I found it in Mama's room.
Do I know anything about that?
Because you've seen her every day for 6 years. You're certain that she left it for him.
Right. I just say back in Infernal, I think you should open it.
Okay.
And Allie begins to pull the burlap open and finds, wrapped in parchment paper, 2 items. A small candle, and further wrapped, the pan flute from which she taught you to play.
Does the candle mean anything to me?
Make a history check.
10.
You find this candle, and it doesn't connect to you until you open the second piece of parchment paper that is wrapped around the pan flute. And it simply says, "Don't let darkness cover your light, Mama."
Okay. I fight back all tears and just focus on the family and focus on this moment, and am not going to let grief, regret consume me, and say, I think we should say our goodbyes. If everyone's ready.
I am going to take Nesrin's hand. I'm going to walk over to Nesrin and take her hand. And I'm going to walk her towards the pyre. Will you put her to rest? Will you light the fire?
I look towards Lapis, not expecting her to ask that. And at first there's a flush of shock on my face. And it's followed by a sort of a stoic sadness. Is that what she would have wanted?
It is.
I nod in response. It seems fitting that I should light the fire, doesn't it? It's almost as if she knew us. Or maybe it should be Allie. I kind of give him a little side look with a smirk. And then I lay out my hands and cast Firebolt, igniting the pyre and stepping back. But I take Allie's hand as I step back and give it a little squeeze and let go.
Did she give out any other details that she wanted?
Allie?
Yeah.
She asked that you play The Call of Home on her pan flute. Will you play for your mother?
Don't even have to ask. When I start to play.
In the past, Allie has played it exactly as she played it. It was her experiences. It was her perspective. But this version of the song is his. And it takes her ways and her old sound and blends it with his darkness and his strength. And it feels somehow different. And Ula, specifically you, this doesn't sound like a call to home. This sounds like a call for heroes.
Qatar.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking the exact same thing, and I didn't want to say because I didn't want to ruin the moment. Your mother asked that half of her ashes be scattered across Hill Garden Farm, so that this would always be home. The rest she would like divided among the 5 of us, so that this is always our home, so that you always take a piece of home with you wherever you go. She wanted the farm divided in 5 equal parts. Will you each take a part of our mother with you?
Our mother. Yes.
She's always with us, whether we want it or not.
I disappear into the house and come back out with a piece of paper. I just start reading it. To my dear children, Ali, Nezrin, Ula, Lapis, and Jade. If I leave you with nothing else in your life's journey, let it be this. I love you all. Having you in my life has been the greatest honor and a gift I could hardly have been worthy of. Despite all, Srolali and Averine saw fit to honor me, and I can only hope to have proven my valor. In my absence, all of Hill Garden belongs to you. All of you in 5 equal owners, and may it stand to prove what I believe and you have yet to discover, my children. Together you are greater than even you know. Always, Seraphimia.
As I finish my song, I'll take out my pan flute and throw it onto the pyre, and I take her pan flute and put it in its place with my belongings.
You all watch as Allie's wooden flute starts to smoke, and the flames now rise, engulfing the shrouded figure that once housed Seraphimia Hillgarden. The smoke rises from the pyre, but being layered at her request in her beloved long bottom leaf, the smoky sweetness pervades the air, and your senses return you to a time when her pipe smoke billowed around her head and yours. Your memories are flooded with her words and lessons, tales she once shared of the gods she served, the rich heritage of the strong-heart halflings and their commitment to home and to each other. You recall her a powerful figure, both as matriarch of this group and master of this farm. You watched her fight to develop and protect these lands with a strength and skill that seems almost at odds with her tiny stature and personal history. Something you wish you could have, would have learned more about.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things you wish now that you would have asked, but the opportunity is gone forever, vanished like smoke in the air, gone like the woman you called mama or friend. And you know that all that remains of her now is a meager farm, a handful of odd keepsakes, and this ragtag family that she nurtured, all assembled here at long last and standing in the light and warmth of her flaming monument. And that
Oh no, stop it.
is where we will end our session.
Beautiful.
And just so you know, that concludes the prologue, friends. So until we meet again, we want you all to stay safe, to please be kind, have fun, and play the role.
Seraphimia,
Seraphimia.
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 travel
Travel
well.
well.
Well, hello, friends. I'm glad I caught you. As our characters are reeling from having finally performed the burial rites of Seraphimia Hillgarden, we thought we wouldn't leave you on quite so sad a note. So we hid a little Easter egg, and you found it. What follows is one of Allie's fondest memories, written by Timothy Stewart as a part of our own version of the narrative telephone game. We hope you enjoy it. We thank you for listening, for your support, for sending us your words of encouragement, your suggestions, and your advice. And we thank you for being part of the D20 to Curtain community. See you soon.
It was Mama's birthday. I don't know which one because Mama never ever told us how old she really was. Anyway, we kids didn't have much money but wanted to do something special for her birthday, so we decided to make her a birthday dinner and all of her presents. Nessie did a dramatic performance of one of Mama's favorite fairy tales, The Copper Dragon of Adama's Tooth. Ula made a card and a beautiful crown wreath of wildflowers. Jaide decided to name a newborn goat after her and called the goat Mama. We tried to explain it to him that her name was Seraphimia, but the goat's name became Mama nonetheless. I composed a little song that went something like this. Mama's birthday song is this tune that you hear to celebrate our Mama every single year. We love you, Mama, on this your special day. So happy birthday, Mama, is what I'm trying to say. Not my best work, but I was young. We were all young. As for the dinner, we all had our duties to tend to. Jaide was in charge of the appetizers, some goat and cow cheeses with a crusty loaf of bread. I took care of the main meal of roasted chicken and potatoes. Nessie decorated the room with colored paper flowers of pinks and purples and set the table with more paper-made flowers. Ula made a honey cake for dessert. At least that was the plan. I burnt the chicken and the potatoes were mushy but still raw. Ula forgot to add the honey and something else to the cake because it was as hard and as dry as a miller's stone. But things really took a turn when Mama the goat that Jaide was cuddling all during dinner was startled by the loud thud of the cake being placed on the dinner table. Goat Mama leaped on the table, knocking over dishes and food and drenching Nessie with the overturned pitcher of milk. Nessie fired a handful of potatoes at the goat, missing Mama and hitting Ula instead. Ula fired back with a handful of cheese, which led to the first, but not the last, of our birthday food fights. Oh, and this tiny scar on my upper lip? Honey cake thrown by Jaide moments after I clocked him with a charred drumstick. Mama said it was her best birthday ever. Mama, not Mama the goat.